Hey, guys. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to our player rating show. Jem will be here. He's just running a little bit late. He's coming off the terrace, as you know, if you guys watch their match reaction. But yeah, we've got a few people here already waiting once again. Sorry for the delay. Good afternoon, Chris. Chris, hello. Yes. Everybody asking about Jem. Yeah, he'll be here. He's just running late. Exactly. Hey, Gio, what's up? My guy. The grind, it does not stop, indeed. It doesn't. So not too happy about that. We've got Mustafa in the building. Hassan's back. Slens, my guy, what's up? Yeah, listen. We know they have it in them, guys. We know they have it in them. So at the end of the day, we shouldn't really be too surprised because we know Zuma, Rudiger, like they're liable to those kind of mistakes, you know. The only thing that was saving us is that they had the presence, the calming presence and leadership of Thiago Silva next to them. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, yeah, we just need him today. What's up, Max? Hey, oh, by the way, yeah. Hey to Jake, and yeah, he's right. Thank God we didn't lose today. Yeah, I have to agree with this. What's up, Max? Mount was superb today. Hands down the best player on the pitch, and I think Jem can agree with me on that. Jem, welcome. Nice of you to join us.
It's all right, no worries. Sorry,
I got a bit bad feedback.
Coming off the terrace. I was watching you guys, man.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh my God, that Chelsea guy, Chelsea boy 11, he's hilarious.
They're trying to set him up for me to argue him, but I said to him, he sounds the same. He's all right. He's all right. Anyway, people, welcome back to that. Sorry we're late. Welcome back to Player Rating Show. Please smash the like button. There's 13 of you here. Please share, and can you please retweet on your Twitter as well? I want to try and build up an audience today. We've also got a massive show tonight as well, which we'll let you know later on at the end. But we're here to talk about Chelsea and Southampton. Massive game. We needed to win, really. We didn't get the win. We drew 1-1. What are the people saying in the comments? Hassan saying Atletico are losing. Mount haters are down.
Lot of love for Mount, which is good. He deserved it today.
I am not rattled, bruv. I'm here. What you're talking about? Lambs, Chelsea bidding 78 million for Haaland. Tammy finished it. Tammy's done, bro. Tammy is done. We need to get rid of him, mate. Championship level.
Tammy, I told like these people who were like avidly defending him, and I was like, this guy is a championship level striker. When Prime said that on the terrace, I was like, yeah, you're right, Prime. Absolutely right.
The biggest thing about today's game, we'll quickly touch on it before we go into player ratings, is because obviously you didn't see the first half, did you, Lambs? But no, I saw the whole overall game.
The highlights. I know I saw Alonso had a chance in the first half. Probably should have done better. Tammy, they didn't even look like he existed for me as well. And I saw the goal that we gave away. Poor from Zuma, in my opinion, very, very poor. And again, like Mendy coming out, that miscommunication. I'm not really too sure what's going on there either. So,
look, for me, the problem we had was. Again, it's an issue that we've been having up to now. It's still early. It's only been there 2.5 weeks, but we don't create enough chances. We don't. We've got too much talent on the pitch, and we just don't create enough. And it frustrates me because people go on about Timo Werner. Oh, you know, Slens, for example. I don't know if Slens is there at the moment. Slens was not happy with Timo Werner, saying he's not doing enough. But my issue with that is we don't find him. He makes runs, and we don't play him at his strengths. You know, today, especially in the first half, we overplayed it. There was so many times in the first half where we got into the final third, we done 1-2 touch football, got in front. Instead of just shooting, we were trying to always play that ball. You know what I mean? To make that perfect goal all the time. We need to be more ruthless, more clinical. We need to have more of a get about us. And that's the problem we've got at the moment. It's good that we control games, and we did control the game again, and we did defend okay, other than the goal that we conceded. But in the final third, we overplay it and we do not create enough blimmin' chances. We're like the opposite of Man United. That's what we are at the moment. Man United can create. We don't create enough. And that's a problem that we need to sort out very quickly. Yeah, we drew today. 1 point's better than none. 1 point, 1 point is definitely better than none, 100%. But at the end of the day, it's still not good enough because we're going through games where we're like this and then we drop, and we're like this and then we drop, and we like I said, we do not create enough. Full stop. End of. From what I've seen, we do not take. We're not clinical enough. We're not ruthless enough. But
Exactly.
what are you saying, Lambs? What are you saying?
In my opinion, I thought it was kind of all wrong from the lineup. I get the squad rotation. I do know understand we have a big game coming up on Tuesday. But at the end of the day, every single game in front of you, like, take it seriously, because at the end of the day, we are still fighting for that top 4 finish this season. That is something that we understand is still up for. There's still a lot of competition around that, and we can't let our own form slip, because if we let that slip, other teams can capitalize on it. And now we've let, in my opinion, I feel like this is more of a loss than a gain. And I really think he was wrong for starting Tammy instead of Giroud. This is a game for Giroud. We saw how well he worked with Werner last game. If it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. I'm not really too sure what was happening with Callum Hudson-Odoi. I thought maybe he had a knock. I was a bit surprised. I thought he had a knock. That's why he was taking him off. But apparently it was because he wasn't good enough. He wasn't pressing. He wasn't good enough. But I don't know. I can think. I don't really know. When Ziyech came on, did he do any better? No, he was completely missing.
No, he didn't.
There was a beautiful ball that Mason Mount put in, and Ziyech was just looked like he wasn't interested as well. Reece James should have scored. Absolutely skied it. Another chance goes a begging, and it's the same old story with us. We're not clinical enough when it comes to scoring goals. Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Zoom was responsible for that mistake, but I think he had a chance where there was a free kick, and I think he headed the ball wide, but chance, or I think maybe the goalkeeper saved it or pushed it away. I'm not too sure, but another chance, and there we go. He is our top defender. Like, he is our defender that's gotten the most goals from set pieces for us as well. So that was a chance, but here we go. We're not clinical enough.
Yeah,
it's the same old story, and mistakes in the back costing us.
The one thing that got me, why I think we lost the game today, in my eyes, was actually our substitutions.
I agree.
I think we were on top of the game. I think we were in control with the game, but I feel like Tuchel mucked up with the substitute. Reece James shouldn't have been on that pitch. I'm sorry, he had an awful game. Yeah, and he had a good opportunity in the box which he skied. Callum Hudson-Odoi should have been pushed to the right. Why didn't he bring Giroud on? Why didn't we not have a target man? Why didn't he do that? We needed a goal. That was set up for Giroud, that game. We got it back. Mason Mount done very well to get us the penalty. Yeah. Bring on a blimmin' striker. Why have we still got a player that's not attackive? That's not his impotence. He's better, whipping the ball in and covering spaces and holding his position. But when it comes to getting the ball and driving, you should have had Callum out there. He's been playing wing back the last couple of games. You should have done that. Yeah. But it don't make sense. But Dan's with us. Dan, what was your quick review of the game, mate? How do you feel about it?
No, I was just like, I was just listening to you guys give your opinions, innit? For me personally, it just comes down to a lack of being clinical. We aren't clinical in the final third. The one thing that I agreed with Tuchel today is that the 20 meters between the goal and 18-yard box and just in and around the area, we're not good. We're not good at all. We lack the final ball. We lack that clear, decisive final pass to make and create chances. The fact that in the second half, I believe probably the only clear chance shot at goal that was really threatening was Reece James. He didn't really have time. I won't even blame him for that. Like, he's a defender in the box and he just goes for power, and when your final chance of the game is falling to Reece James, it just tells you how many chances you're creating in the game. Do you know what I'm saying? Regardless of the fact that Reece James didn't have the greatest of games, I think Alonso was by far worse than Reece James. Like, I don't know how Alonso played 90 minutes. And it's even interesting because it's good to see that everyone has different opinions in how we believe our team should play. on one side you have the fact that we're doing so much to try and get Werner to fit into the team. Does that mean Werner should play? Or on the other side, bro, I saw like 2-3 occasions where Werner made the perfect run. All he needed was the ball to be. I remember in the first half, Reece James.
Oh, don't get me started.
Overcooked to easy in behind ball to Werner. Second half, Reece James beats about 3 guys. All he needs to do is lay it off to Werner.
I said it on the terrace just now.
Yeah, and it's not good enough. If you're not going to play to, and I even saw what Slender said, and obviously, as much as you can have your opinions of Werner, I disagree because Werner didn't even have a chance in this game, so he didn't miss any. He just didn't get a chance in this game, and
he didn't get anyone playing him in. Dan, no one. There's no creative edge. I see Timo Werner make more runs and then have to track back to get onside because we do not release the ball quick enough. 100%. That's an issue for a third of our players.
And on top of that, it's something.
I'm going to say there was a point where Timo got into the box and then he tried to take a shot at goal from a quite tight angle. I feel like in that sense, maybe he should have cut the ball back because there was a few players coming into the box just about. So maybe cut the ball back in that sense. So I felt like maybe in that sense, but I do agree with you in the sense.
Do you know what the
spaces a lot, yeah.
What it comes down to is like it's hard, man. It's hard. It's very hard. But it comes down to the question that I'd even asked just quickly. It's the fact that one, we don't have a spine, and if I was to ask you what's the spine of our team, people would say Thiago Silva, maybe Kante, Mount, and then I don't know, maybe Azpilicueta. That's not a spine. That's not a spine that wins you titles. A spine needs to be the goalkeeper, centre-back, midfielder, and striker. Simple as something that drives through the middle. It's a constant. It keeps going. We lack that Diego Costa edge, that cutting edge. We lack that person.
Frank Lampard, John Terry, 100%, Peter Cech.
These guys that can, and obviously, cool, it's nostalgia and we're living in the past. But at the end of the day, this is what we've been privy to. This is what we've been shown to. So we can demand that. We're entitled to demand more of the players that we have now. And the final point on just the game today is that, fair enough. I do believe we were slow, but the interesting thing is we were slow even without Jorginho, and that comes to my point. It's not about Jorginho now. Forget Jorginho, Jen. But the point I'm trying to make to you is that we're slow as a team, regardless of whether Jorginho plays or not. We are a slow team. We do not play quick enough. We're not incisive, and it comes down to the fact that Mount excellent today. However, my point is when Mount is the best player, we tend not to do well. Because Mount needs to form part. When Mount is playing in a successful team, you won't even need to mention him. Do you know what I'm saying? We need that individual brilliance where Mount doesn't even need to get mentioned because we haven't got that. That's the point. And Mount now needs to be the guy who steps up, who does this. But that's not the kind of player he is. He's not a player that's going to get you a hat trick in a game and be like, Mason Mount. Like, he's not that guy. The Pulisic's, the Havertz, they're the ones with all the supposed talent, but they're not producing, and that's why Mount is having to take the mantle and try and push us forward. But at the end of the day, it's leaving us short in other areas. There's even the Ziyech thing. Like I'm not too focused on that because the 11 on the pitch that had enough time to play, because Ziyech's been in a bad run of form anyway, and then you're expecting him to come on and do something when he's not even playing well in the little time he has. So I'm not even too fussed about that. But what I'm fussed about is the 11 on the pitch didn't do enough, didn't create enough to win that game.
I thought Kante played well, to be honest. I thought he was getting stuck in and everybody's been Kante. But Charlotte's joined us as well. We are going to we need to jump on the player ratings. I need to speed it up a bit. So we need to quickly go through the player ratings because I've still got to release the link to let people come in, and I want you to have your say and whatever. So let's try and, keep it moving if we can. Please smash the like button, people, as always. Please smash the like button. Should we start with Charlotte anyway? Charlotte, tell us about Mendy. Out of 10. 1 out of 10. What would you rate him?
I mean, I'd give him an average 5.5, 6. I'm not. The problem is the goal wasn't his problem, so it wasn't his fault. His defense wasn't doing his job, and there was nothing for me personally that he could have done more. He tried to stretch his leg. He's tried to reach for it. He didn't expect it to get past. So for me, I mean, apart from that situation, I think he did very well. It was an average performance, and it's what I expect from a goalkeeper, to be honest. So I'm giving him 5.5 sticks.
Blams, what are you saying? She gone. All right, Dan, what are you saying?
Yeah, 6. He didn't have anything to do. I mean, the Minamino chance, you can't really expect him to save that. He got sat down. Really, good finish. Can't really say too much. And apart from that, and that's the problem. The fact that they had one shot on target and scored from that just shows that. Why are we not creating enough chances to win these games? Like, I know they defended and they played with a 3 at the back. They changed it up to try and stop their run of form. But why do we always have to be the team to allow other teams to gain their run of form or to get back into things? Do you know what I'm saying? So 5-6, I don't really care. Mendy didn't have anything to do. Like, I don't care, literally.
Yeah, look, Shubian, look, you're saying that, yeah, and you did say this, it's true, but it's still not over. We didn't lose the game. We drew. We got a point. Do you know what I mean? I expect Man United to go and win. Don't go and win. What's going on?
Sorry.
What's happening? Yeah, we should go and win. Do you know what I mean? However, it is what it is. We've got a point. Man United will win tomorrow. They'll be 5 points ahead of us. We've got Man United next, and it's just game on. Do you know what I mean? We just need to get top 4. I don't care if it's second, third, even fourth.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get in the Champions League this season, and that's the way I see it. But Lambs, what's your thoughts on Mendy?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. 5 average performance. I feel a bit bad for Mendy because I think he's so confused, doesn't really know what's going to be in front of him as each game goes because of the constant rotation of the squad, literally from the back all the way to the front. So again, I don't really blame him too much for the miscommunication errors. I think that comes down more to the defense, but you don't really have much to do in the game, I suppose. A fair average 5. So
yeah. I hear that. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. He didn't have much to do again. It's one thing that's quite apparent when you play when we obviously with Tuchel is that our defence we are limiting people from having shots against our goalkeepers. And yes, he was called upon today to stop that goal. But to be fair, it was a good finish by Minamino, who I actually blame David for because before he scored that goal, he was sitting there going, he's my fraud of the week. And then he goes and blimmin' scores 2 minutes later. So, yeah, I'll just give him a 5.55. I don't think he done too much wrong. And I don't think he could have done much about that goal as well. He just got done by the dummy, didn't he, really? So it is what it is. But we're going to move on to Zuma. A lot of people moaning about his concentration in the goal. Charlotte, what are you saying about Zuma?
I'm giving him a 3. A full fact 3. A defender's job is never turn your back on a striker. Never. Rule number 1, never turn your back on a striker. Rule number 2, do your job. He did neither of them. That is why we have a goal. It's not just him, but he was one of the main reasons. If you're going to have your back and you're man marking, how are you supposed to man mark if you don't have eyes in the back of your head? Like, I don't understand this. I'm fuming. Like, Zuma, for me, I'm being generous giving him a 3. I'd like to give him a -3. Because he is more experienced. He has the experience to know that he's done this job for long enough. That was a mistake and he messed up. Like, he literally messed up. And yes, I can blame Aspie as well, but Zuma had his back to the player. You just why weren't they marking him? Just makes me angry.
We are so reactionary as Chelsea fans. We forget that Zuma scored us all these goals at the beginning of the season and
I'm not saying
probably one of his best performances. But no, I'm talking about Will. Sorry, Charlotte. Will saying he's done. I disagree that he's
not
done.
I just think he had a really bad performance today. And for my opinion, as someone who's played for France and won World Cups, for someone that's won the World Cup, won the Euros, that's done everything, you should know better. Now, you need to own your mistake and come back and give me a performance. But for me, unfortunately, Zuma doesn't just deserve a starting 11 in the next couple of games for me until he's earned his place again.
Yeah,
I would say that against any other player. It's not just me saying about one player. I've always backed him. I think him and Silva have a great partnership. But he made a mistake and he has to earn it.
Well, a lot of people saying he's not good in the 3. He was better in a flat back 4. Dan, what are you saying about Zuma, bro?
Yeah, he was dead, man. I think he was brought in to prove himself. I think Christensen was the guy he was going to start Christensen if Thiago Silva wasn't fit against Atletico Madrid. But I think he brought in Zuma because this is a game to bring in Zuma, fresh legs, middle of the back three. Should have been an easy game. He only had one thing to do all game, which was that moment or lapse in concentration. And then on top of that, his distribution is not good enough. Shall I tell you a big reason why? And this is the reason why I understand what Liverpool fans are saying. The reason why their play isn't as good as it used to be is because Van Dijk's crossfield balls accelerate the speed of the play, of the attacking play. What was the key thing in Conte's back three?
David Luiz playing the long
when
balls.
David Luiz played those long balls to both fullbacks, and that was our issue.
I seen Zuma do that today, though.
No, he didn't. He did one ball. No, he did one ball, which was good, but two problems with that. Two problems I had. One, he didn't do it enough, because when we were doing that dilly-dallying at the back for ages, he didn't do it enough because those balls were on. And two, when he did try to do it on other occasions, he'd overcook it. Look, we already know this is not his best attribute. And even when Zuma's played in the three, he's never played in the middle of the back three. He's always played on the left, or I think he's even played on the right before, but he's never played in the middle. He's just not. He wasn't good, man. I'd give him a 2. It was poor, man. I give him a 2.
That's harsh, but yeah, I get it. All right, anyway.
It's only one moment. You have one moment. It's a big team. We're a big team.
I mean, I can't necessarily disagree with with either what Daniel or what Charles said. Like they both have a point. When you get an opportunity to start, you take it, especially in this team right now. We know the manager's auditioning positions. So when he starts you, when he gives you a chance, prove to him that you deserve to be starting. We understand that everyone's going to have a spectacular game week in, week out, especially because we know how tight the schedule is. This is a bit of a crazy season, COVID, all of that. And we get it. It's going to be difficult. But at the end of the day, I don't know. Partly maybe because he hasn't really got enough game time lately. He's a bit shaky. Maybe that's the reason why he made that mistake. But regardless of the reason why he did make the mistake as well, I'm not going to be too harsh on him, because at the end of the day, Rudiger did score an own goal not too long ago as well. But thank goodness we ended up winning that game. So it didn't prove too costly in the end. But I understand, and we all know this, that Thiago Silva is our best centre-back. And either one of them, he's the one that makes them look good. So he's the one that limits the number of mistakes that he makes per game. He makes them look better than they actually are. So without him, they look like a couple of deer caught in headlights. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
We know either one of them are all liable to those mistakes. So I'm going to give him a 4 today, because I still think he has that potential, but unfortunately, and he's also not good in a back three as well. So I'm going to agree with you on that one as well, Jem. So
yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. For me, he was a 3. He ball watched for the goal. I think the one thing we really miss at the back is leadership, and I think that's what Thiago Silva gives us. Got a little bit annoyed with Aspie as well, because if you look at this, I think it was Father, he sent me a clip on he DM'd me on Twitter, and it was an image of the goal and their positions before the ball was played into Minamino. And Aspie, the gap between Aspie and Zuma was massive, but Aspie could see Minamino, so it wasn't like he just didn't shout. He obviously didn't clearly shout and let him know that it was behind him. Yes, he should be watching, but he was ball watching at the time, Zuma, which is where he was wrong. But he, leaders, whoever's behind you should be going, Zuma, behind, so. But we don't do that, and that's the biggest problem at Chelsea. We have no leaders. There's no communication. Maybe if he would have shouted him and said, "Look, Minamino behind," he might have been able to, use his pace to get back into the position. I don't know. He just looked like he was ball watching. Do you know what I mean? And
how animated and frustrated our manager was. He was fuming, and rightly so.
Of course he was. And I like that. I like that with Tuchel. He was fuming the whole game. Every little pass that went wrong, he was stamping on the floor. He wasn't happy. He was shouting at the players, and that's what it's about. But we move on to Aspie. Charlotte, what are you saying about Aspie?
2. He gets a 2.
Okay.
Do you know what? He gets a 2. As our captain, and one of the people that when Lampard was there, before we had Silva, he was the person that was the leadership role. Now he can blatantly see Minamino. He was watching him. Now all you have to do is shout. As a leader, as a captain, that's what you need to be doing. Like, sorry, there's no excuse. Like, you blatantly see he didn't shout to Zuma because Zuma was in the wrong, but Aspie as your captain, as your leader, like the man that's supposed to be telling you stuff, and he's not. Like, for me, Aspie is more of a reason for the goal than Zuma is, because he saw Minamino. Yes, Zuma made a mistake by ball watching, but Aspie saw it. Aspie wasn't ball watching, and he saw it and didn't shout to Zuma. That's a bad captain move. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad captain overall, but I'm saying, for me, that is not captaincy material when you are not communicating with people. That goal could have been stopped, and it would have been 1-0 to Chelsea. For me, that goal was costly.
Yeah, I hear you. Go on, Dan.
I understand the logic, but the reason why he wasn't more at fault than Zuma is because you have to remember Ings was on his other side as well. So he was also worried about Ings on the other side. And Reece James was so far up because he didn't analyze the play too. So my thing is, of course, yeah, I understand you wanted Aspie to give the shout. But what you need to understand as well is that, especially playing in that role, Aspie's thinking a lot about Ings rather than thinking about Minamino. What happens in the free, and the reason why David Luiz, I always go back to Conte, because the reason why Conte's system works so well is because he put the players in the right position. The reason why the free works so well under Conte is because you could put players in a position where you could trust them in that position. You literally just had to do your job, and Zuma's job was literally just to look at Minamino and understand that was his man. I totally get it, and if you think Aspie should have given him the shout, that is totally right. However, when I look at it, football players aren't kids. They get paid a lot of money to understand the basics. That wasn't a goal. Yeah. That wasn't a goal based on ingenuity. That was simply Zuma losing his man. I think Aspie wasn't again, it was one moment in a game where the defense didn't answer the question. So I can't give him, I give him a 4. But for me personally, I get what you're saying, Charlotte, but I just think that I look at Zuma so much more because Zuma is not a terrible player. He can defend. Yeah. So that's poor on his part. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I get that. I just feel like for me, as a captain, that's where they kind of lose the points for, is that as your captain, a shout doesn't cost too much. It doesn't mean you lose your player. No. And I get he had Ings, but all you have to do is shout. Yes, Zuma messed up bad, but all he has to do is shout, and we could have won. That would have been 3 points.
But the thing is, Charlotte, he might have actually shouted. I don't know. Maybe he did and he just didn't hear it. You just don't know, do you? But at the end of the day, it was just poor defending overall for me. By all of them. But Lambs, what are you saying? Lambs, are you gone slow-mo on us, man? You got to sort out that internet of yours.
No, sorry. I was muted. Sorry, because I was trying to stop these notifications coming through and making all the noise. Just a below par performance as well. Basically, sorry about that, guys. Can you guys come back to me, please?
Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna finish it by saying this. Aspie for me was, if I gave Zuma a 3, I'm gonna give Aspie a 3. I thought Aspie wasn't great today. Yeah, I still think between the 3 of them, not more. So I think Rudiger we could probably get away with it because he was marking his man, but it was just a lack of communication in my eyes. And yes, Zuma should know his role. He should be aware. He should be looking behind his shoulder all the time instead of ball watching. I get that, but for me, no more than a 3 for him. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. Who else have we got? Who played next to him? We said Rudiger. Yeah, we even said Rudiger.
I'm going to give him a 4. That's it.
Yeah. That is fair enough. Rudiger, Charlotte.
For me personally, he didn't do too much wrong in the game. He in the defence part was actually he was marking his man, unlike Zuma. Now he should take a lookbook out of Zuma. Now, the problem I have between Zuma and Rudiger is Zuma had his chance as a starting lineup, hasn't turned up. Rudiger at least tried to make amends for the own goal he's got. He's actually turned up, he's done his job. There have been some good saves made, and he has saved our back a few times since the own goal. We all make mistakes, but personally for me, he's 5.5, 6. He done nothing wrong for me. He did his job, and I think Zuma should take a good look in the mirror and actually maybe look up to Rudiger, because Rudiger's showing that you can make a mistake and come back for it. And like, it's a fair point. Is Zuma had a chance to prove why he deserved to be in this squad, because everyone's been like, Zuma and Silva are the best partnership. We want Zuma back in the squad. We put Zuma back in the squad, and what does he do? Like, that's
it's
not
the
proving
formation.
It's
the
no,
formation.
I get that, but it's more about
probably
like
not getting the best out of him as well.
Yeah,
but
no, I
it's not just
know,
him. There's a number of players.
Yeah, there's a number of them.
Pulisic and whatever. So we will get to all of them, to be honest. But what was your rate, Charlotte? What'd you give him?
5.5, 6.
5.5, 6. Fair enough. Dan, what are you saying?
Yeah, he wasn't at fault, but you know my thoughts towards Rudiger. I'm not a fan of bringing back players that have already let me down, and I know he will let me down sometime in the future. So he's 5, innit?
We scored no goal, bruv. Already,
like Rudiger's the player that, like, he needs to, like, he's not needed anymore. Like, done your thing, you tried. Thanks for your time. Cool, didn't really work. Like, there's no point in bringing back these guys who have let us down before. They're not going to change. They're going to let us down again. And I just hope in the summer, either someone comes in and Rudiger's down the pecking order, or he just goes. Like, don't need him.
Yeah, I hear you. Lambs, what are you saying?
Yeah, I have to pretty much echo everything that Daniel said, to be honest. For me, he's one of those, like, outdated models. Do you know what I mean? Like, we just know.
Yeah, literally.
We've literally explored every single crack and crevice that it has to offer, and we're just like, okay, like, we know like the best you can offer. We know what you're like at this point, and yeah, literally, it's already happened, and it's only a matter of time before it happens again. Like, we know he has that mistake in him, just like Zuma. We know that they're liable for it, and it's either one or the other, alongside Thiago Silva, in my opinion, because they're just together. We know what they're like. So, but today he was better than most of them than the others. So I will give him a solid 5, because didn't do too much wrong, did his job, which is what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5. I feel like out of all of the 3 of them at the back, he was probably the best. Didn't do much wrong. Comfortable in that sort of. In that back 3, he looks comfortable on that left-sided of it, doesn't he? He seems to, be fitting in quite nicely there as well. I just hope Thiago Silva comes back quickly, man. To be honest, that's who we need back in the team. Kante.
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Kante was overall actually good for me. Like, you could see he was trying. You could see he wanted it. Like, it wasn't the worst Kante we've seen. So I'll give him a 5, 5.5. It was an average performance. He was trying. He doesn't deserve, like, to be. I'm going to say 5, 5.5. I mean, it was an average performance. Like, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. Like, I can't really say much more.
That's fair enough. Dan, what are you saying?
He was excellent in the first half. I think he was a bit like not he wasn't really necessary in the second half. I know Kovacic was poor, but in terms of it for an attacking change, I probably would have taken off Kante. But again, it's picking at hairs, man. He was good. He played well.
Yeah.
Kante always plays well when it's a 2, like that kind of balanced midfield.
Did we miss Jorginho? Do you think?
I don't think miss is the word. Miss isn't the word. We didn't. It's not like if Jorginho played, we would have won the game. But what I'm saying is, for what the second half required, and I know Jorginho isn't everyone's cup of tea, but he will play more forward passes than Kante, innit? So it's not, but it's nothing against Kante. Kante played well. Like, I'd give him a 6.5, a 7.
Wicked. There's nearly 30 of you here with us. Please smash the like button. We've got to try and get to 40 people. 40 likes if possible. We're talking about Kante. Give us your ratings on Kante as well in the chat. We will release the link very soon once we've flown through these ratings. We'll let you come in and have your say as well, which I know you're all waiting to do. Lambs, what are you saying about Kante?
Yeah, I mean, some people are trying to tell me that, oh, Kante was terrible and why aren't we calling him out? But he wasn't terrible. Like, he wasn't spectacular. He wasn't the Kante we all know and love and, the prime Kante of his time. But we know he's suffered a lot of injuries lately. We know he's been under some questionable managers, been playing him out of position, playing him in weird different positions, playing him all over the park. We know he's also getting on in years as well. But at the end of the day, below par Kante, still coming back from injury, still needs to get his minutes up, still needs to get some game time. It's still better than a lot of average players in that position. So, give him a bit of time, maybe 3 more games, 2 to 3 more games, and we'll definitely see better performances from him. But then again, I still thought he didn't do too much wrong for me as well. I agree with Daniel. He looked better in the first half. Second half, we fell off a little bit. He fell off a little bit as well. And again, maybe it's to do with a fitness issue. He does need a rest, so I probably would have taken him off instead of Kovacic. But I'll give him a 6.5. Did all right.
Yeah, I'll be exactly the same as well. I'd give him a 6.5. I thought he was awesome in the first half. He was anticipating the balls that Southampton were playing, doing what he was good at, and this kind of style of football that we're playing suits him because it asks our players to be aggressive. And Kante loves being aggressive in my eyes. He loves shutting and winning the ball back quickly and intercepting, and it falls perfectly for him in my eyes. Will says Kovacic Kante does not work. I'm begging we play Jorginho, Kovacic, and Kante. I beg we don't, because if we do that, we lose an impotence moving forward. We will touch base on that later on. 7, 6s, 6.5 says Dan as well. I mean, he had a good game. Let's put it that way. We're going to move on to who I thought was the poorest out of the two guys in the middle, especially in the second half. He just kept giving the ball away. Kovacic, Charlotte, what are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, he's had such a good run of games for the last 3 or 4 games. It's like we were all talking last time about how he missed out on man of the match. Like, we've discussed how he was actually showing something. He was being exciting. He had that spark. He wanted something. And then today was really, really disappointing for me. He wasn't there. He didn't do much. He was missing passes. Like, he just wasn't there for me. So I'm going to give him a 4.5, 5 for me.
There's a lot of, I agree. There's a lot of 3s, 5s, 4s. Winter Surfer says 4. 6s says Shilio. 4 says Dujon. Dan, what are you saying?
Yeah,
looks tired is the word. Is what we've got here. Looks tired.
Yeah, I'd even agree with that because even his dribbling was a bit off today. Like, it wasn't that usual close controlled Kovacic that we're used to seeing when he progresses the ball. And really and truly, he had a big responsibility today. And that's a reason why I don't even know what it was, but I don't know why. When Kante and Kovacic play together, it just never seems to work. One person has to play bad. I don't know if it's necessarily them as a duo, but just when they play together, one of them never performs. And I'm not sure why that is. Like, I really don't know, because really and truly, they should complement each other. They should actually work to a T. So it just does. It's confusing. But yeah, man, 5. He was poor today.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I really do. Lambs.
Yeah, that wasn't the same Kovacic we saw on Monday, was it?
Nah.
Looked like that game he completely ran his socks off. Looked really burnt out today as well. I'm not really too sure if that's the case. I'm not really too sure if he's got one eye on Tuesday, which I really don't know. But again, it's a below par performance, and again, we have to question why our players are so inconsistent. Because we know they have it in them. We've seen the potential, because there's been some games where some of them have looked brilliant, and then other games you're just like, who are you? Who is this person? So again, disappointing. Probably give him a 4.5 because just not good enough.
I hear you. I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him a 4. I thought he was poor. He kept giving the ball away. I remember when he was in our box at some point, and he went to lay it back to Rudiger, and he just gave a corner away, and he looked tired. He did look tired. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I felt for him a little bit. I feel like he could have been bought off earlier. Jorginho could have come in quick. And he just didn't have a good game for me, Kovacic. Overall, he wasn't doing what he was good at, which is get the ball, drive, give us a bit of an edge, you know. And yeah, he was. Maybe it's what Dan said. Maybe him and Kante don't work. I don't know, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. You know, you've got someone next to you that can anticipate and cover the ground, and it allows you to get the ball and do what you're good at, which is driving with the ball, linking the play. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I'm going to give him a 4. We're going to move on to Alonso. Charlotte?
Dreadful.
That kind of just sums up the whole performance, to be honest. Like, thank you, Daniel. That literally, like, I was thinking for a word that wasn't rude, because, yeah, it was absolutely atrocious, like diabolical. Like, I don't understand. Like, I mean, yeah, I wasn't impressed. I really wasn't. He literally gets a 4.5 from me.
Fair enough.
And that's me being generous.
Do you know what? There's not really much to say, is there, to certain individual players? It's just a straight up rating.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, Dan, what would you say? Because I feel like you're going to absolutely plummet him in terms of it. So go on.
I don't even need to, man. He's an awful football player, man. He's awful. He's not good. Let's be honest. He was a system player that Conte got so much out of, but there's a reason why in his career, like the leap between Chelsea and his next best club is huge. He shouldn't be at our club. You know, for a wing back here, or for a left back, or for a full back, for someone who doesn't play in the center of the pitch, he is like mind-bogglingly slow.
He's so
like,
slow, isn't he?
So slow. Like he's so slow. Like it's so frustrating. But
bro, did you see that ball that Werner done when he paid him like through?
And he was stride for stride. He was stride for stride with Bednarek. If you cannot beat Bednarek for pace, you should not be in the team. I'm sorry. How can you be? He's dreadful. And even his end product, he couldn't get past the guy who he was ahead of. He couldn't get balls into the box. He wasn't good. If you want to say Zuma, had one mistake in the game, but Alonso's all-round play was just awful.
Man, would you throw Chilwell back in now? Do you think
yes, I would.
Yeah.
I would. And the thing is, I even said that I believe Chilwell should have played the Newcastle game. The problem is Chilwell hasn't helped himself since Tuchel's come in. He hasn't played well. Do you know what I'm saying? But Chilwell was just so much more the word's not versatile. The word is dynamic than Alonso, and he can't do any. Like there's nothing you can do when he can't do anything. He literally can't do it.
Yeah.
He can't get past his man.
He's just too slow. His reactions. I mean, when Werner played that ball into him, it was a good ball. It wasn't even that hard. He was so slow, and when he got to it, he literally just. Oh, it was so frustrating. He could have kept it in. He was literally there, but it's like he was there. But his legs were so slow to put his foot on the ball. It was like it was already out, and I was like, "What is wrong with this guy? Why is he so slow?" But Lambs, what are you saying about this guy?
Yeah, I mean, literally, just to echo most of what you guys said, the legs are gone, aren't they? I mean, we kind of knew it towards the end of the season. We saw it in the Scrum game as well. He was just too slow, and that's kind of why he was making the mistakes that he was making. The thing about Alonso is that he needs time. We know he's got a shot on him when he has the time and the space to, slow down, take his time, control the ball, have a look up, see where he's going to put the ball. And then, we've seen him score some amazing, brilliant goals like that as well. But we also know that the legs are gone and he's not a long-term option. That's why I was a bit surprised to kind of see him be recalled into the squad. I was just kind of like, okay, but maybe this is like a temporary band-aid, but surely this is not a long-term option. Maybe we should start thinking about a system where we can implement Chilwell in, where he can truly shine, a system that works more in his favor. Because especially now, we're still at this point where we're trying formations. Why can't we try 4-2-2-2?
Yeah. Why can't he fit that formation? I don't get it. What is the issue?
Think if I had one criticism of Tuchel, it is that he doesn't seem confident enough to play a back four with this team. And do you know what? You can make the argument that, look, we've only conceded. I mean, Mina was the first player of an opposing team to score against us in 6 games. So you can make the argument that defensively we're more solid with this formation. And a big reason why Lampard got sacked is because defensively we started looking terrible, like leggy, looking all over the place. So it's just about what do you want to give? What are you trying to push? Do you know what I'm saying? When push comes to shove, what are you trying to give more to?
I'm going to give him a straight up 2.5. He's so frustrating. He frustrates me. Like, I watch him run, and when he runs, it's painful. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, oh my god, we're relying on this guy as our fullback. Like, he's like, do you know what he is good at? Arriving in the box, but the ball has to be pinpoint to him. If you're asking him to like just do a 3-yard sprint, you might as well forget it. Because he's not going to get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just slow-mo, bro. He's crap. Honestly, it drives me mad. But this guy had a bad game today as well. Really bad game. So we're going to start with Charlotte. What are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, the last game he was in as well was really poor from him as well. I think I'm really disappointed. He's just been so poor today. Like, there was none of the like pushing forward. There was none of the like the stuff we've seen of Reece James, the crossing, the ball passing, maybe being able to spot like 3 players, being able to like spot like the ball. Like, for me personally, like I don't even know if I can rate him. I don't even know if he fits on the scale, but I'm gonna give him like a 2. That's me being generous.
2.
Yeah,
Fair
being
enough.
really generous.
He was shocking, Charlotte. You're definitely right there. Dan, what are you saying about Reece, the James monster? He looks like he can't fit in this system, can he? From what I can see.
The point, I mean, it goes back to the point. I think I mentioned it to you, Jem. I don't think he's a right wing back. He's not a wing back. I think, honestly, you will get more out of Reece James if you play him in the Aspilicueta role. Charlotte's wrestling with her dog.
Sorry. I'm just trying to stop him from barking. So he's not ruin it.
No, it's fine. But yeah, I think he'd be better as someone has rightly said. I think he'd be better in the Aspi role, where he's kind of like half a winger, half like in the center of midfield, and then he can play his crosses from there and do what he needs to do from there. Defensively, Reece James is solid. Obviously, his positioning sometimes can be a bit wayward, but yeah, I just don't think he's a wing back, and I think he's a victim of
that shot in the box, bro. What was that? If that was Callum Hudson-Odoi arriving in, like, this is what annoyed me about Tuchel today, and we'll talk about it a bit later on. But it's the substitutions really pissed me off today.
But Jem, I'm not criticizing James for being in that position and not finishing it. He's not an attacker at the end of the day.
That's my point. Point. I ain't criticizing him for that. Callum Hudson-Odoi should have been there in that position. He should have been taken off. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just anyway.
I don't even want to get started on Hudson-Odoi. I'm gonna get at like
Lambs. What are you saying?
Yeah, I think that's pretty insulting, to be honest. Reece should have scored. Should have scored. He was, literally just to echo everything else you guys said, because I can't really add on to that. I'm not really too sure what it is about him. Sometimes, like, he has these up and down games. Like, lately he's been a bit on the downward. I'm not really too sure, like, is it the new manager, new system? Is it something that he has to adjust to? Or is it that, we're starting to see that he might not be good enough for this team? I'm not too sure. But I don't know, maybe I think he's better in a back 4, to be honest. It just doesn't look like this new.
Why can't we just play him in the back 3? I don't get this. People keep saying to me, he's not good enough to play in the Aspie role. Like, why not? I don't get
why we haven't tried him there? Like, why not? And try Aspie as a wing back instead. I feel like maybe he'd do a better job, although you can argue
it's not that. Do you know what Islam's? He can, you know what Aspie does? He overlaps Reece James when we're attacking. That could have been Reece James overlapping Callum Hudson-Odoi, and it would work better because then he will be whipping balls in, which is his strengths. At the moment, you're asking him to drive into a box, and this is not his strengths, and that's my issue at the moment with it. Like, I don't blame him too much, but it's not suiting him. It's not suiting him. But yeah, sorry, what you saying, Lambs?
I'd give him a 4. Yeah, just really
4,
underwhelming.
Okay, I'm going to give him a 1. I thought he was shit. got my honest opinion. He was so.
You think he was worse than Alonso? I don't think he was worse than Alonso, though. I don't think he was worse than Alonso.
Anyway,
remember there was
2. I'm saying, all right, 2.
Yeah,
2.
yeah.
We'll give him a 2. Do you know what I mean? But this guy, for me, I get fed up of people criticizing this guy because again, he steps up, he wins us the penalty, he gets us the goal. He then, throughout the second half, looked the sharpest, nutmegging players, crossing balls in. People going, "Well, it's his end product." What do you mean? We ain't got anyone in the blimmin' box. We only ever have one person in the box when we're whipping it. What do you expect him to do? He does all that great work, yeah. And what is he meant to do? Like, do you know what I mean? But Charlotte, go on. What are we saying?
Mount. He's my man of the match. Absolutely done himself justice today. Proved all the haters wrong. He really did a great job for me. He was everywhere. His passing the ball, getting the ball down the wing, getting the ball in the box. Like, the man, he was just outstanding for me. Like, outstanding, on fire. I don't know. Like, for me personally, none of the players get over a 7 today on average. But 7 being the best, there's only one player that gets a 7, and that is Mason Mount today. He absolutely outdid himself. He really did. I was very happy. It was nice to see him actually show his worth. Like, literally, everyone else was failing around him, and he stepped up. He's like 19 years old, and this kid stepped up and showed these grown-ass men what it's like to be a decent player. So maybe people should take note, because he really did a great job today. Like, his passing, his sorting out like corners, literally. Even his penalty was taken with such beauty, such calm, collected, and he just went bang. Yeah, goal.
Yeah.
I didn't even flinch. He didn't even phase him. Although it was interesting to see that Mount took the penalty instead of Werner, which is usually how it was.
Well, he's not scoring goals, is he, at the moment?
Yeah, but I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased with that. I'm not even complaining. Mount took a very, very good penalty, and I'm not going to.
And he took the responsibility as well, Charlotte. That's the most important thing. He stood up. He went, "Look, I'm going to get my team back in this game. Give me the ball. I won the penalty. I'm going to step up. I'm going to make it happen."
And if I'm really honest, Mount is the reason that we are like drawn. Like, Mount's the reason.
Yeah,
he was the one that was tackled, and he's the one that got the penalty. So for me, Mount, man of the match, and a 7.
Lambs, what are you saying?
Yeah, can't disagree with that. Absolutely, our best player. Can't, 100%. Only one that, and especially for the game that I actually saw like the majority of. Whereas in the first half, I mainly just kind of caught the highlights, so I'm still a bit like shaky on the players' full performances. But what I saw, it literally just like Mount was the one like running, making those runs, putting those balls in, made a beautiful cross into Ziyech, who just looked like he wasn't interested. The ball he put in the box for Reece James, good. Like running around the midfield, taking players on, spinning, just really such a hard worker. And obviously, like, people think that I have a thing against him, and I don't. I want him to perform well, and this is the progress that I wanted to see from Mason Mount, and I felt like that was being curbed under Lampard. And now we're seeing like a better Mason Mount. Obviously he does need to work on his finishing, but that will come. That will come with time, practice. Obviously, our manager still doesn't even really know his starting 11. We're still rotating the squad, but excellent for drawing the penalty, taking this penalty as well. I'll give him 7.5.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Please smash the like button. There's nearly 35 of you here. Please share if you're new. Please subscribe. Let's try and get to 50 likes, people. We'll really appreciate it here at GNA TV. Dan, what are you saying about Mason Mount?
Yeah, no, quality again. What we need to, or what any Chelsea fan who doesn't, or who really appreciates Chelsea needs to understand is that Mason Mount is going to be a big part of Chelsea going forward. The thing is, and the problem and the issue that I have, and which is really unfair to Mount, is let's even forget this game. What this Chelsea team has done is they've irresponsibly given Mount so much pressure to deliver, because he's the one who shows heart. He's the one who shows like he wants to create. He's the one who wants to show or make something happen with this team. And it's irresponsible on Chelsea. So every single Chelsea player, every single Chelsea signing needs to look at themselves in the mirror and understand that if even one other attacker shows half the amount of desire and the ability that Mount is currently showing, we will be playing so much better than we're doing right now. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, Mount shouldn't. Mount doesn't need to be. Mount is so good, and this is actually a compliment. So just deep what I'm trying to say. Mount is so good. He doesn't need to be the center of attraction. He doesn't need to be the center of attention. He doesn't need to be that guy that gets you a hat trick, individual brilliance. He doesn't need to be that guy because he gives you so much in other areas. There's a reason why. As much as we don't like Southgate, as much as we didn't like Lampard as much, there's a reason why he kept playing. Because he showed something that other guys weren't showing on a week in, week out basis.
And don't have.
And you could even make the argument don't have. And until this team shows some balls and some bollocks, Mount will continue to play and continue to be the main man. Whether or not that wins us titles or wins us trophies is yet to be seen. But until our signings and until our players show up, he will continue to be the main man in this team.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm going to give Mason Mount an 8.5 today. Man of the match by far. He done everything right. He was good on the ball. He was driving. He literally, because to be fair, no one was really good in the first half. But in the second half, he's the one that came out and said, you know what? I want to get my team back in this game. And every time he got the ball, he looked confident. He moved the ball quick. He was driving into spaces. He was taking players on. He was whipping balls in. And these were good balls as well. Do you know what I mean? It's just that we just didn't have the people in the box. It had been. This is why I'm kind of looking for, like, I wanted Giroud to play because I thought Giroud would have been important. He would have been in the box. But even a Kai Havertz, do you know what I mean? This is why it's important to get him back quickly, because he would have been arriving in the box. He likes them kind of, whip balls, whipping and stuff. It's options. We haven't got that at the moment. Ziyech, we had Ziyech trying to do a Giroud when Mount's whipping balls in. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, this is not what Ziyech is here to do. Do you know what I mean? And I think, look, Mason Mount, great as always. I don't understand the hate for him. He gives us something that a lot of I'm going to say it, a lot of individuals do not give us in this team. They don't. Yeah, his work ethic, his work rate is immense. His balance on the ball is immense. He's quick with the ball. He moves the ball quickly. The only thing he needs to work on, in my honest opinion, is that he needs to be a bit more clinical. He needs to be, taking more shots and, stuff like that. But again, he's still young and he's learning. But we move on to Timo Werner as the last guy. Charlotte, what are you saying?
Yeah, Timo who? I mean, he didn't really do much as per usual. Like, he had this goal and I was expecting, maybe, I think we all expected a bit too much from him. He got his first goal, but that was about it. Like, as far as I'm concerned, he really didn't turn up today. Like, there just wasn't anything special. There wasn't anything I liked. Like, there was nothing that I could be like, yeah, he did this and this was great. There was nothing. Like, it was a dead game, and for me, he gets a 4.5.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say quickly is Southampton did play well, but I still think they were there for the taking. I really do think if we would have just brought on right individual players in that game, that we would have won that game. We lost 2 points. I'm happy that we still drew. Look, I'm happy that we still got a point. I'm content is the word. We should have won the game, but as long as we don't lose it, I don't care. But Dan, go on. What are you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're right that he didn't show much, but again, he's not an individual brilliance guy. We know this. We know what he is, and we know what he can do. And we don't play to that. It's no coincidence that as soon as Werner moves up front, he goes through the same issues that Tammy was having and trying to get the ball. Like, second half, he was non-existent, but did we really create a chance for him? The fact that there wasn't even a chance of Werner to miss means that we didn't even make chances today. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was more, and we're obviously going to get to Tuchel, but it was more a case of there weren't opportunities because of the way the lads played today. I do think he made proactive substitutions that I don't believe previous regime would have made, like halftime substitution, making them then doing a double substitution. He must have just saw the game differently to us. But at the end of the day, there weren't the opportunities created for Werner. But then in terms of his individual performance, yeah, look, 4-5 is more than justifiable for him.
We are going to get to Tammy short and sweet, but we'll do Tammy and then we'll do Tuchel, and then everyone can get involved with the Tuchel debate and what they thought. But Lambs, what are you saying about Werner?
To echo what Daniel said there about him not really getting much service, I feel like that is kind of the reason why maybe people feel like, hey, maybe he should have done more, but there wasn't really much he could do, so it wasn't completely his fault. He did have a few chances. I think he had one chance in the first half. I think maybe one in the second, or was it the first? But he should have pulled back instead of trying to take a shot at that tight angle. So maybe better decision making. But again, his movement off the ball, we know the pace that he's got on him. He is trying. He is really trying. So I'm not going to blame him too much, obviously, considering the performance he had on against Newcastle, and then before that as well. He played a lot better in those games. So, but then again, nobody bar Mount really stood out in the team today. So I'm not going to be too harsh on him. I'll give Werner average 5.
You know what the one thing is with Timo Werner for me, and this is why he stands out from the Martials and the others that are lost confidence or are on a bad run. He still makes the right runs to get in the right positions. He gets to the end of it. All right, he might not score and be clinical, but he still does the right things. And today, he was doing all of the things he usually does, which is making runs, movement, etc. But in the final third, we were just overplaying it, and not just that. There were so many times where we should have just released the ball. Yeah, released it when he would made that run. Yeah, and I promise you, there was a handful of times that we could have just played him in, and he could have scored, and well, not scored, but he would have had a chance. You know what I mean? We didn't give him an opportunity to even have a shot because we wasn't even feeding him. We don't play to his blimming strengths. And this ain't the first game that I've said this about him. People go, "Oh well, what is he doing? He's he needs to be more influential." He's not a Diego Costa or a Didier Drogba. He's not that type of player to be able to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and hold the ball up and take on defenders on his own. It's not like that with him. You've got to play by strengths to get the best out of him. And he is a goal scorer. He will score goals. You get him in front of goal, give him the chance, he will put them away. But if you don't give him that opportunity, because you've got people like Reece James who does a great run, but he's looking at his feet all the time instead of looking up and play that ball quickly, then you're not going to get the best out of him. And that's my issue. For me, Timo Werner was a 5, but he wasn't. I don't blame him. I really don't blame him because I feel like we just do not play to his strengths. We're going to attach on to Tammy as a group, rather than just split this, because I think we all agree what Tammy is at the moment.
0. I agree. Nothing. He doesn't make the scale of numbers. He gets a 0. He doesn't go to 1. He makes a 0.
Jem, this is now the second time he's been subbed off at half-time under this new manager. This is now the second time.
Also, if you're looking at it, I think it was Werner that made a cross and Tammy just stood there and didn't. Now, if he'd have run for it or slid in, he could have got that ball in, but he just stood there and let the ball go past him. No, it's not even that's not a striker like this. Do your job. If you see the ball and you're not sure if it's going to get in the goal or not, run for it. Get it in the goal. It's your job. Be creative. Don't just stand there and just be like, yeah.
It was poor. Dan, what do you say about it? Tammy?
I'm already done with Tammy's not good enough to be the main striker for Chelsea. I mean, I like the guy. I think he's a cool guy. He's even from around my area and that, but he's just not good enough. I think Championship striker is a stretch. I do think he's good enough to be a Premier League striker for another team, but just not for a title-winning team. Today, I could make the same arguments for lack of service, but he doesn't do himself any favors when he himself isn't good enough on the ball, can't create his own opportunities. So. Yeah, man.
It's just Championship level, isn't he? Let's be serious. He's done. Do you know what I mean? I have put the link in the chat. We're going to try and keep it short and sweet because Liverpool are playing Everton at R5, haven't they? And it's 5 o'clock now. So let's try and get a good 20 minutes in. Let's talk about Tuchel, shall we? Let's get it up. We're going to throw some people in as well. What went wrong today for everyone? What do you think he done wrong today?
I'm fuming.
overall?
I'm fuming with Tuchel. Like, I literally am. And I'm not fuming that. I'm not saying he's a bad manager. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying he made a bad decision with the Hudson-Odoi issue. Don't bring someone on as a sub at half time and 25 minutes later take them off. That is a waste of a sub. He made a bad decision, and Hudson-Odoi actually it takes a person, at least a player, 20 minutes to get into a game, and he didn't even give him that. So how can you say anything? Like, yeah, I mean, there were some really poor decisions today. Kovacic should have come off earlier, I believe. He was tired and dying out, and he should have come off earlier. And I saw Hudson-Odoi was coming up. I was like, hold on. He's just come back. He's come back on. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm fuming. That was a bad decision. A bad decision that I think's rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way.
I hear you. We got Will, Winter Surfer, Johnny, Chris, and Hassan all with us, boys. I'm going to start with Winter Surfer. What went wrong today? And yeah, what was your views of the game, Winter Surfer, overall?
There were many things that went wrong today. Starting Tammy in the first place makes no sense. Crossing it into him when he's got a wet sponge for a head makes no sense either. Like Charlotte says, Kovacic has been our best player over the last 4 games, but he did not have a good game today. He was taken off too late. Playing Mason Mount as a false 9, I think I saw in that second half, made no sense. And Hudson-Odoi, I said this on the terrace as well. Hudson-Odoi, why didn't you shift him to the left? Because they were doing nothing down their right hand side. Absolutely nothing down the right hand side. Also, we are so slow passing out. We play if we were playing a 4-3-3, we're supposed to be a counter-attacking team. We don't counter-attack. We're too slow. We can't even use Jorginho's excuse today. We didn't even use him as an excuse today. He's too slow. It's just too slow passing. And Zuma.
Jem, I'm going to have to go.
Not in the back three.
See you later. See you later.
No back three for Zuma. Not in the centre, man. No, you can't.
No. I hear you. I do hear what you're saying. Will's with us as well. Will, what you saying, my man?
I was so confused looking at that lineup. I don't understand, and I rate Tuchel highly, but what I don't understand his thought process behind picking that team. And as much as I don't rate Zuma, when you look at, I don't fully put it down to him, is in the sense that he had no reason or excuse to shake up that back three after it working in previous games. Christensen is good in the back three, and he's good in the middle of a back three. Why not just go with him? I don't understand. Why shake it up when it's not broken? You got Kante and Kovacic. Kante was good, apart from maybe he gave the ball away a bit too much. I think his pass accuracy was quite low. I think it was around 77%. That's not good enough in my opinion. Kovacic was poor, looked tired.
Will, where I disagree with you with that, Kante broke up the play so well today, mate. Especially in the first half. He was a bit poor in the second. Don't get me wrong, but he gives you something different in terms of what Jorginho does. What you're talking about is what Jorginho does, which is keeps the ball moving. He's going to have a better pass ratio, and of course he does, because that's Jorginho's game.
I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, I don't think Kante and Kovacic work together. I don't think. You need to give Kante the freedom to press, don't you? And you also need to give Kovacic the freedom to progress the ball forward, to almost like create. You when they're together, there's something that's not quite balanced. And I'm not saying this is down to Jorginho, although I think Jorginho should have played today. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's all down to him. We either need to play Jorginho or go out and replace Jorginho with a DM like a Bruno Guimaraes or a player like that, in my opinion. Because otherwise it's just so imbalanced.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Johnny Boy Blues with us as well. Johnny, what you saying?
How you doing, Jim? You all right?
Not bad, bro. Not bad. Another Mason Mount beauty, eh? Mason Mount Hive style.
Yeah, my boy, Money Mace, Money. He's done it again. And I wanted Charlotte to stay on because the last stream we did, she said, yeah, he's the most consistent, but he's not a good player. And today it's like she's blowing trumpets. So I just wanted to call her out on that, because at the end of the day, I've backed Mount from day one.
Facts.
Even when he's been sort of maybe had an average performance, but he's still been our better player out of our bad bunch. And when he plays well, great, yeah, credit due, but he deserves credit in all the other games as well. It's not just this game. So he was outstanding. Everything he did was just and do you know what? He's actually a beautiful player to watch when he's up that pitch and he shows. He
gives us something different, Johnny, doesn't it? He's a different style. It's just something we haven't got. I keep saying it to people. It gives us something we don't actually have, in my eyes.
And you know what? With Tammy, right? I wanted to say why Tuchel played Tammy, and the reason he played Tammy was he couldn't play Giroud because of his mobility. We know the way Tuchel knows the way Southampton play. So they press. They like to play out from the back quick. And what we did definitely in the first half so well, which stopped them from even getting out, was our pressing, which Tammy did contribute to really well. But his hold-up play is just shocking.
Oh, no.
Link-up play is shocking. Not good enough.
Yeah, he doesn't do enough, and that's true. It's becoming quite frustrating. I do think he's a championship player, but I don't mind having him at Chelsea. But he has to be a second/third striker, and this is why I keep saying we need a centre forward. We need a centre forward at this club. Yes, we've got Timo Werner, but he's not going to be your Didier Drogba or Diego Costa. I'm telling you that.
And whoever said we don't need Haaland, right? You need to go and learn ball.
No,
Did you say that?
I said we need a striker, but maybe not one like Haaland.
No, mate, Haaland is exactly what we need. We haven't replaced any striker since Drogba and Diego Costa. At the end of the day, Haaland is the only player out there that can offer us that.
If we get Haaland, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy, but I just don't see Werner and Haaland working.
Of course, they can, because Timo will play off Haaland.
That's what I said.
It will be absolutely.
If you look at how
perfect.
Haaland moves,
you're saying that. I'm sorry, Will. You're saying that, but has he played off Tammy? Has he played off Giroud? Because Giroud's a great striker to play off. He was one of the best strikers to play off. One of the his link-up play is incredible when it comes to Giroud.
But he's not an out-and-out goal scorer like
he's similar. Haaland is similar to Werner in the way he drifts out. He drifts out to the left. You've got Haaland, who's a better technical player than Werner, but their movement is similar.
Even though he drifts, we want him to drift because when he drifts, Werner will slot in where he is, and they'll all alternate, right? But at the same time, Haaland's got the hold-up play better than Werner. He's got the physical attributes better than Werner. He's more clinical than Werner right now.
Yeah,
I agree. So when you look at those factors, he would be an absolute perfect fit for us. It's just down to whether we get CL. That's all.
I would, if we got Haaland, I'd rather just. I mean, everyone knows I want to play a 4-3-3, and I think that's how we will get the best out of our midfield and attack long term. Why can't we just play Haaland on his own?
We'll understand. Can I just say, Will, bro? Sorry.
Go on, Sled.
Will,
go on.
just
try and stick to this game because honestly, we haven't got long. Liverpool.
When it comes to this game, I just want to talk about Tuchel in general. When it comes to this game, the reason we don't play 4-3-3 is simple, man. He doesn't trust his defense. Just like Daniel said it earlier. Daniel said about Rudiger. You expect a mistake from him. I expect the same thing from Zuma and Christensen. And you know what? Tuchel knows that. He expects these mistakes. So listen, at the end of the day, you can't trust him to play in the two. We saw with Lampard. These guys, listen, they're not good enough to defend. It's so embarrassing. Like, I can't believe we spent 200 million and we have centre-backs that can't defend. Like,
and this is the same point this is the same problem that Lampard had. It doesn't change. And I've been saying it. Whether you have Lampard, whether you have Tuchel, it's at the end of the day, if you've got these players in defence, and you want to play a certain style of play from the back. Most of these players, apart from Thiago Silva, cannot play out from the back. They're not those types of defenders. So whether you have Lampard or not, that problem's always going to be there until you actually hire some new personnel in that department.
I don't
to play
disagree with
way.
that. Do you know what I mean? Listen, you're saying that now. The defense here, what it's done is affected the whole team, man. It's affected our midfield because we had to play a pivot instead of 3. It's affected our forwards. There's limited. We have a lot of forwards in our club, but we can play limited numbers. We can play only Werner or Mount, and Ziyech has to sit on the bench. But I mean, like, this defense is literally affecting the whole team. You build the team from the defense because we don't have that.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that.
But you couldn't play Jorginho.
You know what the biggest issue is? Yeah. Do you know what the biggest issue is with our defence is when Thiago Silva's not playing, we go back to how he was last season, which is that we don't have any leaders and we don't have anyone that can actually take control of the back. So you end up relying on people like Zuma and Rudiger. In my eyes, they're not bad, but they're just not great.
Good.
You know what I mean?
They have these mistakes. Yeah, they have these
They need
mistakes.
leaders next to them. And that's the problem. We haven't got anyone to take control of these guys at the moment. And when Thiago Silva's in there, why do you think we play better? It's because he's in control all the time. You know what I mean?
He played from the back.
navigating.
Can I make a point about Werner before I'm going to leave because I'm going to open up the lines? But I want to leave. Basically, when it comes to Werner, it might sound like I have an agenda and everything. Obviously, I came out on the terrace and spoke. But for me, the reason I spoke about him, is because, listen, I expect from him to be better than Tammy. And if you look at Tammy, we all talk about Tammy. I understand he's been there for a year longer. But when it comes to Tammy, we all say he's limited. Link-up player, he can't do good. And when it comes to the air, he's terrible. I think Werner's very limited. But he's extremely limited. And I understand.
He's not limited.
No, he is. Johnny.
Let me finish.
He's not that type of. He's not that type of striker like Tammy.
Let me finish. Let me land. Listen, when it comes, the reason I say he's limited is because we know his link-up play isn't good. We know he's not good technically on the ball. We also know that he has his finishing isn't great. Like, I understand he gets a lot of chances in Bundesliga because he's a great mover of the ball. I can't deny that, and we don't find him enough. But for me, if someone's so limited, you can't build your team around him, bro. Because he won't show up in the big games. If it's a low block, he won't show up.
Unless you play to his strength.
How many times has Werner been fed? How many times has Werner been fed?
Can I say something? Jen? Can I say something? Right. Excellent. I completely agree. But the worrying thing is, it's not even just the big games. It's even the minor games he's not turning up in. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The last 2 games before that. The last 2 games before that, he didn't. Right, he scored in the last game, but the game before that, he was influential into us winning that game. Because why? Because he was making the runs. He was winning the ball. He was playing 1-2s. He was getting in the box. He had a bit of anger about it. He looked.
Do you know why?
He doesn't always have to. And even the commentator said it. He's not scoring, but he's playing very well in the game. It's not like a Martial where he disappears and he's not even on the pitch and you can't see him. He's always trying to do the right things. I get Slens what he's saying. I really do understand it. If we don't play to his strengths, you're not going to get the best out of him. It's just
but Jem, what Slens is asking for in Timo is not he's not that type of striker. So what Tammy offers, right, is different to what Timo offers. They're completely different strikers.
I'm not comparing them. What I'm comparing is the situation that we're dealing with. I'm comparing the criticism that Tammy gets to Timo's criticism. Like,
but
we all say
Tammy deserves that criticism, mate. Because at the end of the day,
so does Timo then. So does Timo.
No, because I'll tell you why. Because Timo, right, he has to feed off Tammy. But if Tammy's not feeding him or holding the ball for Timo, then how can you expect Timo to deliver anything?
Can I just make a quick point? I think I understand what you're saying, and I actually do agree in the sense that Werner is limited. Because at the end of the day, for me, when you have to do so much to get a player to fit into your system, then that means that player is limited, innit? But what I will say is, however, and it's the criticism, you could even go as far up to the board. It's the criticism in the fact that not understanding player profiles and then bringing them into your squad and then expecting the coach to get the best out of a player when we don't necessarily play to his strengths. I think one thing we can say is we know what Werner's strengths are and we know what his weaknesses are. If I was to ask you what Tammy's biggest strength is, it's probably poaching around the box. But even then, sometimes, like, for someone that big, for someone with his frame, I know, like, we're using
scoring 1 out of 10
player builds, and like we're using player builds to judge him. But for me, Tammy doesn't offer, like, Werner can at least look at what we're comparing. The question is, what it goes down to is
you can't compare them. Dan.
No,
that's
literally,
I'm not comparing.
It goes. I know. Yeah, we're not comparing them, but it goes back to the tweet that I made today, and I said and it was just funny to see the responses. I said, who is the spine of this Chelsea team in it? And the usual spine for league titles is goalkeeper, centre back, midfield, and a central midfielder and then a striker. We do not have a striker currently who can lead us, who is the spine of our team, who can be the focal point of our team to score goals when we need goals, big goals when we need them.
Agree.
Like if I said to you guys, the panel, everyone on today, if we needed a goal and we needed one man to get us a goal in the dying moments of a game, who would you tell me? I will have different answers from everyone.
I can't even say anyone. Yeah, I
Exactly,
can't even
and
say
that's the
anyone.
point.
That's the problem.
That's
That's
the
the
point.
problem we have.
Now.
Right now.
But
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Anyway,
also,
Mount.
the problem we have is Pulisic wasn't in the side. Cho wasn't in the side today. So it doesn't allow you to play Werner centre forward, to play the ball game, not the crossing game. But we didn't really play the crossing game very few times to warrant playing Tammy or Giroud.
That's because Tammy can't head up.
Yeah, but Tammy played today because of his pressing ability. Let's have it right.
Oh,
and
he didn't
secondly,
press.
he did press.
He did.
He did
A little bit.
All right,
You guys are so forgiving of Tammy, man. He's
I'm not forgiving Tammy, Andrew. I'm saying Tammy had a bad game. Tammy had a bad game.
Boys, one at a time. One at a time.
Can I just finish? My point is Tammy played today. You got to remember he had that injury, so we're lucky he even played. But he's not playing against Atletico Madrid. I guarantee it. He's not going to play. And Cho's going to play. Cho will play against Atletico Madrid. Jorginho's going to play against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
And Christensen and possibly Thiago's going to play. So there's a reason why we played this team today.
Yeah, but can I just say, can I debunk a myth that we have in our club, in our team, yeah? The starting lineup. Alonso is good at going forward. He's not good at going forward, yeah? He ruins our attacks. His positioning is terrible, and he's not fast enough. So what does this mean? He offers nothing to the team. He offers nothing. I don't want to see him anymore. Listen, I understand we're playing 5 at the back, right? And we need him for that. But hopefully this game Tuchel will see this and he'll let this go, man. Hopefully he'll trust our defense when Thiago Silva comes back. He'll let this go.
You've got to expect a bad game, an average game. I mean, he's just come in charge. We're not going to play fantastic every game.
2.5 weeks.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying change. I hope he changes the shape. I hope the 5 at the back is gone now.
He will.
Are you confident with Chilwell though, playing in a back 3?
I'm more confident. I'm more confident with Chilwell as a 4 than I'm confident with Alonso as a back 5.
Tuchel won't play a 4 right now. He's not going to play a 4.
No, he won't.
He's not confident. He's not confident enough.
Working. In his eyes, it's working at the moment. We haven't lost the game yet.
Exactly.
So it's not going to change much. But Real Chris is here. Let's let Real Chris have his say.
Yes, Chrissy.
I will say, like with Tuchel's decision of Hudson-Odoi, I did say on Charlotte's stream, I couldn't understand why Hudson-Odoi didn't play at left wing back because he didn't like Hudson-Odoi's energy. But what was Alonso's energy in that game?
Dead. Slow coach.
Honestly,
that's what he was doing.
He's playing like he was in the Matrix.
But Mount was weaving in the right and centre, so he couldn't play choke. It'd mean putting a Mount on the left with Alonso. So
do you know what it is with Alonso? Right,
I wouldn't have done that. So I get why
his brain tells him. His brain's quick. His brain's quick to think about what to do, but his legs don't actually match his actual thought process. So slow,
John, he wasn't told to attack though. Do you not think Tuchel's told him because of Southampton how quick they can counter? He's probably been told not to sort of push right up.
But they didn't. But Johnny, they didn't.
Wait, can I say?
They never countered throughout the entire game. They never did anything.
Well, they did for the goal, didn't they?
Well, no, but that's one goal. But I'm gonna say this right now. There's no excuse that you guys shouldn't have drawn today. There's no excuse. Your team first of all was good enough to beat them. Your team, like Sven said on the terrace, your team is good enough to beat them, and. It's a repetitive topic between the two teams. Always Southampton that you man always get edged against.
I'm tired of being charity FC, man. I'm tired of giving these man hope, reviving their season every time, man. Every single club we play against, we revive their season.
Next, won't it? We'll now lose.
They've got their eye on the game.
They're on a bad run.
They've got the eye on the Atletico game. You can see that. You can see that they're thinking about.
Do you want to say, bro?
Yeah, the last point I'll make, and then I'll leave. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, we're going to finish soon as well. We want Hassan to talk, but yeah, go on, Slens.
Our main problem in our team is that we have too many players that fit different systems, and they only fit that system. Like we have Alonso, who only fits a back 5. Chilwell only fits a back 4. Zuma only fits a back 4, not 3. And we even up front, like Timo Werner can't play as what's it called, left wing, or the lone striker. He has to play as two. So we have too many of these problems, and the reason that comes from is the board hiring too many managers and too many systems. Man, I just want to just to go back to the main problem for me. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I see it.
We've got a lot of dead wood in the back four.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of dead wood. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I do agree with that. Slens, thanks, bro. Appreciate it as always, bro.
In a bit, man.
Cheers.
See you in a bit.
See that.
Hassan, you're here, my man. You've been very quiet. I'm not been able to speak, but yeah, go on, my man. Yeah, we'll let you finish.
Yes. Because normally when I speak, I always get interrupted, so I thought there was no point in me answering anything. But anyway, today's game was dead, frustrating, and slow. I mean, to be honest, I was kind of shocked that Tuchel hooked off Hudson-Odoi and now hooked off Alonso. That it kind of confused me there. But like what everyone said, we should have won that game, but we failed to capitalize on the chances. And for me, in my opinion, I think Tammy at the start is finished now. Because obviously, I've been reading a lot of reports. Apparently, Chelsea are preparing a 78 million bid for Haaland. So it's looking like his career is finished. But also, like, if Hakimi is also coming as well, I want Alonso and maybe Emerson gone from the squad and fit him towards the left-hand side to get more pace on the left. Because how Tuchel plays, he makes overlapping runs and he forces their left and right back in a 2v1 situation. It cannot be a 2v1 if one player is slow and the other one's too quick for him. It just wouldn't work. So you need two fast wingers on each side to make them overlap runs. So today was just frustrating, but we need to sort ourselves out for against Atletico, because if we play like that, we're screwed.
Well, that was going to be my final question to everyone here. Obviously, look, I've said it in the past. We were going to draw and lose games. We haven't lost a game yet under Tuchel. Yes, we've drawn today. Should we have won the game? Yeah. Do I think the reason we didn't win the game was the substitutions? In my eyes, that's what I believe. Yeah, I think we made the wrong substitutions. The game was there for us to win. Southampton didn't really offer much. Do we need to be panicky and upset here? But not really. You know, I expect Man United to beat Newcastle tomorrow, so that means they'll be 5 points ahead of us rather than 3 points, which we are at the moment. Fair enough. We've got them next. We just got to go and do our thing. You know, we've got to do our thing, go up against them and go from there. But are you worried about the Atletico game?
This is old Chelsea, though. This is old Chelsea when we're disappointed with a draw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
You man should be worried. You man should be worried.
What for? Who? Why?
You man should be worried about us.
No. Wait, Man United.
What
Madrid lost, didn't they? Today, 2-0, apparently. So
European competition ads, not your.
I'm very confident.
Shut up,
I'm
Andrew.
confident, mate. With Atletico, I'm confident. I think we're going to do the business. I really do.
Jem, I
hope so.
I keep saying to people, Jem, a score draw away and 0-0 at home. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Go through.
Should we be that upset about today's game? No, not really. I'm annoyed that we didn't win the game, but I'm annoyed when we don't win. I'm always annoyed when we don't win games. That's just because I set high standards of my team. I want us to win everything. I want us to be competitive. So I'm sure we all feel the same about that as well. So it is what it is.
Jem,
you know,
do you know what annoys me more?
Go on.
Do you know what annoys me more than the actual result itself? It's all the fans saying Tuchel out already. It's just
they're idiots.
Oh, they're plastics. They're plastics.
And do you want to know what else is funny?
That's all the Lampard dinners. That's who that is. The one that I've been waiting for this day.
Jem, where's all the Mount haters? Where's David and all the others?
Trust me, he still criticised him today, Johnny.
Andrew patted him. Did you know, boys? Andrew patted him.
Really?
Andrew patted him.
Yeah.
Andrew told him it's a nonsense.
To be fair, I wouldn't criticise Mount today because of that second half performance was the best I think I've actually seen Mount. Like
he said, you know what he said? Well, this is what David's words were. David's words were, yeah, he was good today. Was he our best player? However, like he always does. However, he was wasteful with chances created. He's the third highest chance creator in the Premier League behind Bruno
I think Werner and Tammy were wasteful, not Mount.
What's he going to play with, Johnny? He's got no one in front of him to play it. It's not his fault if he's creating chances.
Today with Mount. In the first half, I thought he was okay, but then no one was good in the first half.
No, he was good in the first half, Will. What are you talking about?
I thought he was all right.
Average. Yeah, he was.
He was better than average.
That's if we look at that 45 minutes in that second half on its own, that he was fantastic. And if he could have matched that second half with the first half, he probably would have got a 9.5 from me. But
yeah, that's just Mount though. That's just Mount.
He had more bottle than our own Aspilicueta captain. He had more bottle,
I guess,
in that game than any other player in that team. In fact, the whole squad.
Johnny, I think Mount will become a. You know what? I'll be real with you. Not just because Johnny's here and he's my boy. I'll say this right now, though. I think Mount will definitely be captain in the future, in my opinion. I think he will be.
Yeah, he will be.
Can I say?
Maybe we'll see.
Go on, Chris, go on.
No, I was just going to say I really like Mount's bottle for taking the penalty because this last penalty he missed against Tottenham and he had the bottle to take it again and say, I'm going to put this in and help us.
He was quite assertive with it as well. He picked up the ball.
Yeah. And he won the penalty as well. That's what he won.
David said to that as well. He said he didn't have to do much. He just put the ball round him. It's Ings' fault. What do you mean?
And he's not technically gifted to nutmeg.
Could I add something to
that?
That nutmeg was great, to be fair.
The funny thing is, David's logic is flawed. It only applies when it's against Mason Mount. Like, remember that time when he said, Mason Mount was our best player, but where did that take us from 5th to 8th? But then again,
he's got no logic.
But listen.
David is Jorginho, so I like him, and he's a part of the Jorginho hive.
Sorry to cut you off. It's nearly 5:30. We want to go and watch the game, Everton Liverpool. We hope Everton at least draw or beat them to keep them away from us. To be fair,
hopefully the Dippers lose. I want them to lose.
Hey, listen, we're back tonight at 9:00. We got the big debate show between Chelsea and Man United. We've got some big YouTuber coming on as well, along with a couple of other familiar faces.
Are you doing a call-in, Jeb?
9:00 tonight.
Are you doing a call-in though? Are you doing call-in?
It will be mainly debating. You can ask questions in the chat later on. I will put the link in the chat. You can come in and have a chat as well. No worries, we can do that definitely.
It's like how we did it last week.
But we'll see how it all goes. But guys, I appreciate you all being here as always, man. Yeah, honestly, we've drawn this game. We move on together. We go into Atletico in good confidence still. You know, hopefully we can get a result there. And then we've got Man United next Sunday. This guy next to me's team. That hopefully we slap up 3-4-0, which would be great. But yeah, appreciate it as always. You can find all of us in the description below. Keep subscribing if you're new here. We're nearly at 1,000, man. I keep saying it, but we actually nearly are there. Which means we're going to be monetized. And we appreciate it as always. But yeah, guys, peace. See you later.
Take care.
See you guys.
It's like he's